Welcome back to The Five. It's a fun weekend here on the Plaza. We want to remind our viewers about that Zoom road trip we're going on in 3 weeks. Exactly 3 weeks. The Five's first ever road trip, all of us together. On July 15th, we'll be hopping on a bus a little bigger than this bugger here, and we're going to take a ride to Cleveland and then Philadelphia for the Republican and Democratic National Conventions. To help us get in the spirit, we're going to take a trip down memory lane and talk about our favorite road trip memories right now, beginning with Miss Dana Perino.
We drove back and forth from Denver to Wyoming over and over again. My dad said we had 255 air conditioning. It was 2 windows down, 55 miles an hour. There's very few radio stations for a long stretch, and I remember that my sister, at one point, she got mad at me because I was sticking my feet in her face. And she ripped off my Bert and Ernie sock and threw it out the window while we're driving down the highway, and my parents did not stop. And I remember now they tell me that they were laughing at me. Scarred for life.
Eric,
yeah,
Eric,
it was a fun memory.
Give me a story, Eric.
When we were little, we drove from Chicago to Florida once a year. There's the 1 week vacation we got. And same thing, windows down, air conditioning. And it's 1,200 miles. I used to cross off 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 1,200. Everyone all the way to 1,200 until we arrived.
You had a map?
Every time.
This
I just wrote 12. I know.
What?
I write 1 to 1,200 on a piece of paper, several pieces of paper, and every time we knock off 10 miles,
No wonder.
I cross off.
No wonder you're Eric Bowling.
Well,
that was great. What about you, Kate?
Okay, so one time I was a little bit of a damsel in distress, and I was driving and I got a flat tire, and I don't know if anybody knows, they're not that easy to fix, but luckily some firemen were driving by in a truck.
Of course they were.
And they saw an emergency situation, and they all got off the truck, and they changed my tire for me and offered dinner to me at the firehouse.
Very nice. Very nice.
One of the many reasons I love firemen.
That is wonderful. You know, we can only hope that happens to us on the bus. Gregory.
Exactly.
This is a pretty incredible story. I went on a fishing trip with 2 of these girls. This was a couple of years ago in a Ford Thunderbird convertible. We were going and we stopped at a tavern, right? Some guy starts messing with one of the girls. The other girl shoots the dude.
Oh,
and then no, I'm not kidding. And then they decide we got to get out of here. So let's go to Mexico. So we go to Mexico, right? And we're there and we're freaking out. And the girls meet this guy. He looks a little bit like Brad Pitt. Yeah, his name's JD. His name's JD. And so they're hanging out with him. And they wake up in the next morning and JD has taken their life savings. So they freak out. They take some guns from a state trooper. They blow up a fuel tanker. And when they're about to get caught, they decide to drive off a cliff. I was left there.
You know, this
Plagiarizer.
Wow.
That's the movie, The
All right.
Mexican.
You know, this is just too much.
No, it's Thelma and
It's a
Louise.
little much.
Oh, Thelma.
I must say my experience is more like, can I stop at the New Jersey Turnpike and go to the bathroom? Anyway,